I am super excited to introduce our next speakers. Let's please give a warm welcome to Cathleen Ryan, VP Marketing at Intuit, and Julian Mintz, the National Brand Sales Lead at Roku.
Thank you, Jesse.
Of course, welcome.
Cathleen, how are you?
I am great, Julian. How are you doing? It's great to see you.
You too. I'm going to kick this off with one of our favorite questions. It's a really tough one. Get ready. What are you streaming right now?
Oh, that's a great question. So one little nugget, I always seem to be about a week or a month behind cultural trends. So I am just about to complete Mayor of Easttown, which is fantastic. I did finally finish a guilty pleasure, America's Next Top Model. And I am looking forward to starting Yellowstone soon.
Yes. Yeah, we actually just finished that one and are struggling to start a new one. So I'm pretty much sports and sports only on streaming right now, which is a really great segue into this. I want to talk to you a little bit about Intuit TurboTax's strategy around the big game this year. It's coming up. So you guys are obviously a longtime participant, but this year specifically, how are you guys engaging and really showing up in this game? Like, talk to me a little bit about your activations.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be happy to. We are entering our 9th year as a Super Bowl advertiser, which is just amazing. So I think we're almost to veteran status at this point. And I think, one of the things that is important to underscore is that the actual game spot is just one of many elements of how we think about our Super Bowl activation. In fact, I think we devote as much time, if not more, attention and investment on our digital extensions, our other activations that are in and around the game and the weekend and all of the excitement that leads up to the game. So, we're taking our Super Bowl concept, which is still under wraps, but you will see it come to life through a lot of digital extensions across many partners, inclusive of Roku. Things like Tinder, we have a TikTok hashtag challenge that weekend, the tailgate sponsorship. So just lots of fun things that really allow the brand to be part of the celebration and the excitement and extend well beyond the linear spot.
Yeah, we're excited to see the concept come to life for sure. So you talk about it's been 9 years in terms of developing your strategy. How are you really engaging users this year in a way that makes TurboTax stand out? And talk to me a little bit about how that strategy has developed over time.
I think it's evolved in the ways that we want to be where our customers are and where the viewers of the game and related activity are. And I think that's where you've seen the most change over time. With kind of newer entrants like TikTok, there is so much second and even third screen viewing of the game that you really need to surround in all of the ways that people are consuming the content. Things like the Super Bowl halftime show. So we make sure that we're surrounding the artists that are naturally going to get elevated as a result of being in the halftime show. So making sure that we have a brand message surrounding those playlists, as an example, and bringing our campaign to life that way as well.
That's great. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about how streaming fits into that as well. It's interesting. The second screen concept is one that we've really thought a lot about as well. Per some of our research last year, younger audiences, Gen Z specifically, over 70% of them will pause an ad that they're watching to then research and purchase the product that's featured in the ad. I think we see our users specifically willing to lean forward. They lean back to watch their content, and then they lean forward to engage with a lot of the brands that are engaging them on screen. I guess that's a good segue into like, how are you guys looking at streaming this year?
streaming is a huge part of our marketing plan. I mean, when you step back, we've got about 13 weeks in the tax season to get our message out there and to connect with our consumers. Streaming is a really critical piece of that, to both get the reach, to certainly get in front of cord cutters, and frankly to find kind of newer and more interesting ways to drive engagement. So it's a really big piece. And I think you mentioned, the kind of the second screening, the searching. Search isn't just about search engines. It's about all the places that that customers will look for your brand. And so we want to ensure that we are in the places and spaces where where those customers are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you guys have really been on the forefront in terms of experimentation around different unique ad formats in our space, and really taking advantage of some of the secular shifts we're seeing into streaming, which has really been great. I guess, curious, I could probably talk about them a little bit, but if you could talk a little bit about why Roku, what you're doing with us specifically that was of interest to that broader streaming strategy.
Yeah. I think there are some obvious reasons. So I'll start with those and then maybe go to some of the less obvious reasons. I think, we with Roku, we have the opportunity to reach consumers at scale. Roku has a direct relationships with its consumers, and our ability to leverage our data. It's just better ad targeting, better measurement. So kind of obvious reason number one. Obvious reason number two, I think there's a lot of premium inventory on the Roku platform, and we as a brand can advertise with trusted, editorially curated premium channels, local networks, film and TV. So the inventory itself is brand safe and allows us to have just great content adjacency. I think the other maybe less obvious reasons are, I think there's the opportunity to innovate and be creative with how we build interactions with viewers. It's well beyond the 30-second ad and really taking advantage of that full, kind of streaming environment. Julian, as you know, we are always eager to push for never been done integrations. I think, going back a few years, the first mini ad on the Roku home screen, just really thinking about ways that we can continue to innovate on how ad integrations happen, whether those are pause breaks, things like that. And I think, maybe another kind of less obvious reason, and, this applies to Roku as well as a number of other partners. It's really about the strong partnership. We have built a relationship over the years. We've established, mutual trust. And I think where I get really excited is the opportunities to create mutually beneficial integrations. And by mutual, I'm including Roku viewers in that, where, we can unlock content because of our brand integrations and because of our partnership and sponsorship that perhaps viewers were not able to access before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was something you said to us very early on, was that we need to think about this in a way that benefits our users, because then everybody wins. So this concept of helping users find the big game, unlocking additional content for them, has always been really successful for all parties. So I guess one of the interesting things about sort of streaming and media in general is this idea of cross-platform, of a ability to look at holistic performance, not just looking at how my linear performs and how my streaming performs and how my digital performs. Talk to me a little bit about TurboTax's strategy there, specifically around sort of this holistic measurement to drive performance outcomes.
I think we strive to have a holistic and integrated view of our marketing performance and effectiveness. I would say, we're constructively dissatisfied with not having a perfect answer or a silver bullet to that. But I think, ensuring that we have robust measurement tools in place, not only to track our linear performance, but really understanding how our audience activation strategy is working across our digital platforms is a critical piece of that. I'm still searching for that holy grail of perfect measurement across all impressions, across all devices, and all channels. But until then, I think it's really about kind of continuing to, no pun intended, move the ball forward on our ability to kind of understand performance at kind of an audience and platform level, and feeling really solid about those measurements, and figuring out maybe some other ways to stitch together a more holistic view.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess you guys are veterans at this point with TV streaming. What advice would you have for marketers that are thinking about testing TV streaming for the first time, maybe in general or maybe specifically around sports as well? But sort of curious for your thoughts there.
I would say the first thing to do is just start. Again, no pun intended, but you're kind of late to the game. And so I would say the first thing to do is just get started. I think about this is a somewhat odd analogy, but like this to me is kind of the future of marketing. It's the promise that I think, if you've been around for a while, the promise of addressable TV, but in a real scaled and kind of easy to access way. And so I'm really excited. I think the combination of targeted, data-driven brand marketing at scale, we're at that precipice. So if you haven't started yet, just get in the game.
There we go. Yeah, and I guess interesting too about the way you guys have developed your strategy is really leaning into the scale and the high impact and all these different creative executions that drive brand. But to your point, always having an eye on performance as well, and having the measurement tools in place as best as possible right now to understand if it's actually driving business outcomes for you guys as well. I think that's one of the promises of streaming that you guys discovered very quickly in terms of the development of your strategy.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, brand without performance is not does not drive business results.
Yeah, that's right. Put it on a t-shirt. What are some of your predictions for the future of like larger tentpoles? Obviously, it's a really dynamic media environment right now. We've seen viewership shifts across live sports, award shows, really all the big tentpoles. What are some of your predictions there more generally, but also in terms of how brands might be adapting to those?
I think the pandemic has accelerated a number of trends that I think were already starting, thinking about things like digital, like streaming, frankly, the ability to get high def content into your home has just, thinking back even, 5 years, the technology has really accelerated quite a bit. And so I think about the growth of digital, the growth of virtual, the growth of mobile, all of those things are accelerated trends that I think are here to stay. I think the impact on kind of tentpole events, I think we'll continue to see the fracturing of attention, and for brands that want to get involved, really making sure that you aren't just thinking about the linear viewing experience, but really thinking about the multiple screens that you as a consumer probably are also using, but thinking about your target customer and knowing that they're likely leveraging multiple screens, and it'll be more important than ever to surround the tentpole events with digital and other platforms.
Got it. Okay, I'm gonna ask for one more prediction. Rams versus Bengals. What are we feeling?
Ooh, oh, This is a hard one. I'm leaning Rams because I adopted the Rams as my West Coast team. My OG team, the Bears, are not doing well. So the Rams are kind of my second team.
All right.
That being said, I love the upstart Bengals. I love the rookie energy, like the youthful energy of the Bengals. So I'm honestly hoping for a really great game. I think it will be the playoffs to date. The divisional games, the champ games. You couldn't have asked for better matchups, both as a fan and certainly as a marketer heavily involved in the games. But it was high expectations for the Super Bowl.
Amen. I'm right there with you. All right, Kathleen, amazing as always to talk with you. Thanks for all the insight, and good luck in the lead up to the big game.
Thank you, Julian. It was great to talk to you.
Take care.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Kathleen and Julian. That was such an incredible conversation, and we hope to have you both back soon.